medicine path. We're having some technical difficulties. Cordi's coming all the way from Tulum, Mexico. So I think we've got it all straightened out now.
Yes, we
I'm
do.
going to let you take it from here. I'm so grateful that you came. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that you're
Thank
doing
you.
for what you do with the Shipibo tribe to what is happening here with the plant medicine path. We're very grateful to you and David.
Thank you. Equally grateful to have the opportunity.
Okay, I'm going to let you take it from
All right,
here. All right, thank
let's
you.
go. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, and for just being on this plant medicine path. And this is such a wonderful group. Mark and Michelle are incredible people. So, kind of a little shout out to them as well, just for creating this space where we can talk about medicine, where we can share experiences, because healing does happen in community. And this is something that I've found over the last 5 years very strongly, is that it's not the individual journey that as well, but it's really about being in that community and being in a relationship with each other and supporting each other and inspiring each other, empowering each other. And a lot of that comes from empowering yourself and having a good relationship with yourself. So today I want to talk a little bit about psychedelic integration, and I could talk about this for hours probably, and I have, which I will tell you about a little bit later, but I just want to, for about 15 minutes, kind of cover the basics of what is psychedelic integration and why is it so important. So why do we need integration is essentially what I want to tell you about, or kind of make it more attractive to you to really think about if you not ever thought about it. To myself, my name is Cordi. I am originally from Austria, live now in beautiful Mexico, and I've been on the plant medicine path for about 5 years when I worked with a shaman family in Ecuador as part of my yoga teacher training, actually, back then. So I got the full shebang of very intentional, safe, ceremonial plant medicine practices, together with the mindfulness practice and the embodiment of yoga, which was huge and has really influenced how I now work as a facilitator, how I work as an integration coach, and how I work as a psychedelic guide and therapist. I am now working as an integration coach, so I support people throughout their integration. I work with different plant medicines, especially psilocybin and cannabis. I also facilitate and organize ayahuasca retreats to Peru with my wonderful Shipibo maestros, Sylvia and Noe. They are in Pucallpa, which is a small-ish town kind of on the east side of Peru in the jungle, closer to the Brazilian border. And that I want to touch on a little bit towards the end of the stream. So to get to the really good part, which I am super, super excited about, is integration. Integration essentially is the days, weeks, months, and sometimes even years that come after the ceremony. So when you think about, you are going into the ceremony space, ideally you will prepare for it, you set your intention, you prepare your mind for it, you prepare your body for it, and you feel really safe and supported, hopefully, ideally, to get into the ceremony. And there's a lot of magic that happens. There may be so many things that are coming up, so many lessons and insights and teachings that are amazing or really challenging, or both of it a lot of times, because the medicine works in mysterious ways, and depending on the medicine and the ceremony and your setting and your intention, this will all look different. But the part of integration is very, very similar actually for all sorts of medicine work. So whether you are doing an LSD session, whether you're sitting with ayahuasca, whether you are trying bufo or breathwork, basically that ceremony opens a gate or opens a door for you to walk through And that's where it starts. That's where the work begins oftentimes, and that's integration. So integration often is defined as the path to wholeness. So in the weeks and months or days after the ceremony, after your experience, now it's really time to make sense of that experience. So it's not just a funky trip or a funny evening or a really challenging experience for you, but you're actually able to take all of the lessons and the insights and the teachings, and over time really start to make sense of what those were and how you can apply them in your day-to-day life. And something that I've seen quite a bit is that people are seeking the medicine experience and they go from one to the other, and ceremony after ceremony after ceremony, and it kind of piles up. So there's all of these things that are coming up, and it's really, really hard to integrate that. It's really hard to actually take the nuggets of wisdom that you need in your day-to-day life to step into the person that you already see in the ceremony space, maybe, or to actually sustainably continue walking this path that you've been shown, because you're knowing how to let go of these things and you know how to create better habits. So all of this is why integration is so important. It's basically the difference between having a trip and having a life-changing and transformational experience. I've seen, because especially with ayahuasca, I've worked with this medicine for about 3 years now, and with my Shipibo maestros as well. And I've kind of supported a lot of people throughout this process. And I've seen what the difference is between people taking the time to integrate and to reflect and giving themselves the space to let the waters calm down, so you can like see what's on the bottom, on the ground, because all of the things that get stirred up now find their place and there's just so much more clarity. And people who just jump from one thing to the next, or think that now with one experience or one ceremony, all of their problems are magically solved. And that's realistically just not the case. So I don't know if it's fortunate news or unfortunate news, but the work really doesn't stop with the ceremony. That's when it begins. But it is actually a really, really exciting process, because you find out so much about yourself through this path of integration. Generally speaking, everybody is different. So everyone will integrate things a little bit differently and process the ceremony in their own way. But there are still a lot of kind of steps and guidelines and tools that can really help you to just walk this path with a lot more ease and agency, because you have a framework, because you have a little bit of guidance, and that really, really helps you. So even though the timeline will be different for everybody and the stages will look slightly different as well for people, there is a general pattern that I've seen evolve, and also my teachers, where that comes from. So I've trained with a wonderful clinic in Boulder, Colorado, called Medicinal Mindfulness, and they place a lot of importance on especially the integration process. So, and this is not really a made up thing, but it's something that has been observed through psychedelic therapy for decades, and through transpersonal psychology as well. And it's really, really helpful, because if you're coming out of an experience and you think, wow, I know how I solve all of my problems and I will never think of this again, or I've let all of this go, that might be the case, but it might also not be. And it's really, really helpful just to know that this is a process that everybody goes through, or most people, and you're not alone in this. So you're not the only person who goes through that. You're not the only person who comes back from a ceremony space and then maybe weeks later you find yourself almost more confused than before, because it's, you see this thing that's possible, or you see this massive lesson that just doesn't make any sense, but you're trying to figure it out. And you get there through this integration process, which is beautiful, because things that don't seem to make sense start to make sense, and you actually have so much agency, and you have an opportunity every day to really embody those lessons, and to not just on an intellectual level understand, hey, my life can be different now, but you start to really feel it, and you really start to make these changes for yourself, and you start to just really walk that path from a place of wholeheartedly living it, instead of just kind of believing that this could be true for yourself. And I could talk a little bit more about the stages. I'm just going to touch upon them really, really quick. I have a really good resource that I've created, and I will post that in the link of this video as well. But I've basically created a step-by-step guide or course that's interactive to do, and basically covers everything from coming back right after ceremony, taking you through the steps over weeks and months that follow after ceremony, with integration prompts, with reflections, with meditations, with yoga practices, embodiment practices, visualization, and manifestation exercises, because that really helps so much, just to have a little bit of a guideline to follow and people to talk to. And I think that is another really important aspect to talk about. So I will leave the link and a little bit more information on this course that is called what's it called? The Path to Wholeness, Psychedelics Reimagined, and essentially really gives you this roadmap of figuring out your own tools that you have within you to connect to your own medicine that you carry inside of you, and those beautiful kind of like step-by-step guidelines and posts to kind of follow along as you're going on your own integration journey. And the other thing that is really important, I think, is community. There is a quote by the teacher Ram Dass, who's just was a wonderful soul and a great spiritual teacher. And he would always say, we're all just walking each other home. And that is something to me that just hit very, very deeply, because the path can feel a little lonely sometimes, and it may feel like you're going crazy, or that everything's just uprooted and everything in your life may be changing. People that were in your life all your life may be falling away, or things that you were believing for your entire life all of a sudden turn out just to not be true, and you have to reorientate yourself in so many different directions, and that can feel really overwhelming and a little lonely. So this is why I'm personally so grateful for this group and this community and this space, because it provides that container for community, and also really directs you to resources of people that you can talk to. So if you are on this path, if you are coming back from a ceremony and are looking to integrate, but you're not entirely sure where to start, if you are thinking about going into a ceremony space and you just want to feel really prepared and well resourced and want to get the most out of it, talk to somebody, use the resources, talk to integration coaches. I work with people in that space on the Plant Medicine Path website. There's a couple of other really wonderful integration coaches that do this kind of work, and there's communities like this one that also kind of connects you to not just the medicine and the education that you're seeking, but also to the people whether that, an integration coach like me or one of the other people that do this, or just between each other to spark those connections and to build this community and to have people to talk to that understand what you're going through because they've been in that space and they've worked through it, or they can just really emphasize with you. And that's so, so, so important to really recognize you're not alone. You have community, you have support, and asking for help is not a weakness. It's such a strength. And when you ask for help, it will be given to you. That's the beautiful thing that I've really found in this community, especially, is that when you're asking for help, you will receive it. And not just from one person, but the universe will provide you with people and resources and knowledge and opportunities to really heal yourself and also heal in community. So we will post a couple of links for you just to get connected to a few people, to practitioners, to integration coaches, to this course if you're interested in that. I would love for you to check it out. It's a really, really good resource. I've gotten lots of great feedback from my clients. And yeah, that's kind of the part about the integration. Michelle, I could go on for literally 6 hours, I think,
Yeah.
but I guess for the sake of this live today, we'll stick to the more condensed version of it.
Well, I mean, Mark and I are on the same page. It's really why we started the plant medicine path. It's why we came together to offer this platform, because of integration. It's I've always said, without integration, it's just an experience. It might be a really cool experience, might be a really scary experience, but without the integration, for myself, can talk for myself personally, that's been key to changing my perspective, changing my life, and understanding a better way to live it. Listening.
Yeah.
I love how you said the path back to wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's what it is. That's
And
what it
it
is.
really opens up that space to expand so much beyond what you think you were capable of,
Mhm.
and like just into so much more. It basically, what, sometimes it's kind of this peak experience where the medicine shows you, this is who I could be if I didn't have all my trauma. This is who I could be if I just let go of this. This is who I could be if I just let love in. And you feel that in the ceremony space, and you come back and maybe get disconnected from that, and integration is the way back. And that's what I love about it, because it makes you able to actually connect to that space without any medicine at all, just
Right.
by doing this work. And ultimately, I think that's what we're here for, to actually live our day-to-day life and to live our being human and be connected to that, be connected to ourselves and the people around us and nature and source and just divinity. And the integration is such an essential part of that.
It is. I agree with you. I mean, it can be very confusing. It can be scary. It can be, it's unsettling after a journey. And integration, talking with somebody who understands. Talking with somebody at home is great, of course, but talking with somebody who really understands and understands what you're going through is integral to this process. Even group integration.
Mm-hmm.
Group integration is incredible too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that actually brings me to the next thing. We've talked about this. So we actually together, we set up an online integration circle for people of the plant medicine path. The plan is to have this a weekly event with a small group of about 7 participants, and really just hold space for people to share a little bit more about their experience, to connect with other people, and to receive support when they need it. And I'm super excited to do that with you and to collaborate with you guys on that, because I really think it's gonna just even like deepen the community aspect of the whole group, just to have that container for these vulnerable shares in real time with other people.
Absolutely. And to keep it on a small scale, so that, people have a chance to really talk and open up and
Hmm.
can feel vulnerable enough to be able to do that. I'm really looking forward to that as well. I think it's
Hmm.
really important, and it's really the whole reason why Mark and I started this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, Cordy, thank you so much. We appreciate you and all that you're
Thank you.
doing. We look forward to coming to the to Peru with you, and
Hmm.
going through that. We're just thrilled. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
grateful to have met you guys.
As are we. Thank you.
Yeah.
Likewise. And thank you to Krista for connecting all the
Yes.
dots. Shout out to
Yes. Yes.
Krista.
Absolutely. All of this is going to be on Facebook after this, so we'll be able to
Hmm.
to put more out there. You can go to
Yes.
our website, theplantmedicinepath.com, to get information on integration coaches, and soon to be able to sign up for integration right there. So
Hmm.
more to come.
More to come. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Michelle. Thank you,
Thanks.
everybody, for watching and for
Yes.
being here.
All right. We'll see you
All right.
soon. Okay.
We'll
Bye
see
bye.
ya. Bye.
Good night.